Imagine being a young realtor ready to do a showing on a property, but it was all just a ploy to kidnap and murder you. My name is Sage, and this is the 4th episode of Who Do You Trust? This episode will head over to Minneapolis, where we will discuss the heartbreaking case of Monique Baugh, a young mother who was senselessly killed by someone she knew, partied, and traveled with. Let's get into it. Monique Baugh was known as an ambitious young woman who had recently gotten into the real estate world. Monique was known for being a hustler and always being successful at whatever she set her goals to. She was also very family oriented, whether it was spending time with her 2 daughters and her boyfriend, or having a cousin game night and having fun with her cousins. Her boyfriend was named Mitchell-momoh, a rapper who went by the stage name Momo or John Momo. They share 2 daughters together and have a very loving relationship. One day she received a phone call from her personal cell phone from a woman that wanted to book a showing on property. Her being the go-getter that she was excited about the possibility of gaining a new client and closing on a nice property. She went to the showing and saw that another realtor was there waiting on her clients. The 2 struck up a conversation, and then Monique got a call from the lady asking if the stove on the property was gas or electric, which was a little strange, but Monique answered the question. The woman hung up, and after a while, the woman did not show up. But being in real estate, it's not uncommon for people to not come to the showings. A few days go by, and it's December 31st, 2019. Monique had plans to have a cousin game night with her cousin and the kids. They were going to bring in New Year together, having fun as a family. John, or Momo, had plans to go out as well, but that was pretty normal for the couple, especially since Momo was a popular rapper. As Monique was getting ready for her cousin game night, she got a call from the woman saying that she found another property that she just had to see. Monique agreed to show the property at 3 p.m., but she was skeptical because she didn't think the woman was going to show up, but still went in hopes that she would. Momo stopped by and spent time with the girls while Monique went off to the showing. She pulled up to the property on the phone with her cousin while she waited. She said if they didn't show up by 3:10 that she would leave. But seconds later, a U-Haul truck pulled up and she got off the phone with her cousin saying that she'll call her when she'll leave. But sadly, that'll be the last time the cousins would speak. A large man walked in the door and attempted to grab Monique as she tried to fight him off. Shortly after, the man forced Monique in the back of the U-Haul truck. Her mouth and hands was bound by gorilla duct tape, while the other was a getaway driver. Her cousin called her wanting to know if everything was okay, but she got a text saying, "Can I call you later?" Knowing that wasn't like her, the cousin kept calling, but eventually the men tossed the phone out the window. Not exactly sure what went on in U-Haul, but Monique was held captive there for hours. Eventually, they pulled the van over in the alley and pulled Monique out the car. She was shot a total of 3 times. The men then got back into a U-Haul and drove away. While Momo was with the girls, he felt that something was wrong because he hadn't heard from Monique and she was late coming back. But he put both girls to bed and patiently waited for her to come back home. It wasn't long before he heard the key going into the door and the door opening. Immediately, a masked man opened the door and started opening fire. Momo was hit multiple times, with one being 1 inch from his heart. He ran upstairs to his girls, and the bullets just barely missed his daughter while waking them up. Fortunately, the girls were not hit and the men left them unharmed. Momo was eventually rushed to the hospital where he was in critical condition, but Monique's whereabouts were still unknown. Monique's mother saw Monique's custom house key lying on a rug. She realized that the shooters used the key to enter in the house. The detectives from Monique's crime scene decided to go to the house after hearing about a shooting and that where the girlfriend of the victim was missing. After asking to see a picture of Monique and asking if there were any identifying tattoos that she had, the detectives knew that the 2 shootings were linked. They then had to drop the devastating news to her family that Monique was dead. Initially, police thought that Momo was a target because he was on social media flashing large amounts of cash. Maybe he was in attempted robbery. Hours after Momo was released from surgery, the detectives dropped the devastating news that his girlfriend and the mother of his daughters were murdered. While in shock and disbelief, he was asked if he had any issues with anyone. He stated that he had a falling out with a friend and label mate by the name of Lyndon Wiggins that went by the stage name L.A. L.A. was a local rapper and drug dealer who was signed to the same label as Momo. The 2 was once really close and even partied and went on trips together with their friends and girlfriends. Momo didn't think their issues were to the severity to where he would attempt to kill him. Momo started to gain more popularity and even secured a feature from the late Nipsey Hussle. L.A. wanted a verse on the song, but Momo eventually dropped the song, leaving L.A.'s verses out. That started to cause tension. It got worse when L.A. eventually was dropped from the label. Meanwhile, Momo was on social media living his best life, uploading videos of him showering with $100 bills. Momo and a few associates was also arrested on gun charges but was eventually let go. and shortly after Momo was released, one of LA's weed farms was raided by the feds. By that time, LA saw Momo as an op, as an enemy. He believed that Momo was a snitch and had to be dealt with. Law enforcement was able to track down the U-Haul thanks to security footage from a house across the street from the property. They were able to get the license plate number and find the facility that it belonged to. Upon finding the truck, the door was wide open, airing out as heavy odors of bleach and other cleaning products was lingering throughout the van. 4 fingernails and plastic from the Gorilla duct tape were left behind. Law enforcement tracked down the couple who rented the truck, and the couple stated that they were drug users, and the man promised them heroin if they rented out the truck for him. The man's name was Cedric Berry, who had a very lengthy criminal record. After searching his personal vehicle, they found the Gorilla tape and walkie-talkies. Not only was it the same tape used in the kidnapping, but Cedric's fingerprints was on the tape at the scene. An associate of Cedric was able to confirm that his brother-in-law, Barry Davis, was the man with him in the footage caught from across the street. Cedric and Barry were both hired by LA to kill Monique and Momo. Cedric was a trigger man and Barry was the driver. The woman by the name of Elsa Segura was a former corrections officer who lost her job after an investigation found out that she was dating LA. She was also the woman that made both phone calls to Monique asking them to tour the properties. She confessed to making the calls, but stated that she didn't know the plan, trying to minimize her role as much as possible. LA, Cedric, and Barry are all currently serving life sentences. Elsa's case was overturned by the court due to prosecutors failed to provide sufficient evidence to sustain conviction of 2 of the 4 charges, and the trial judge gave the jury bad instructions about determining her criminal liability. She's entitled to a new trial. I'll be sure to keep y'all updated on that. Growing up without their mother, the girls are still healing, attempting to fill a giant hole with their family with gravesite visits and birthday celebrations. As a part of their grieving process, the girls and Monique's mother, Wanda William Baugh, wrote a children's adventure book based on the purple pillow Monique used to lie on while reading to them. The self-published book is titled Ruby and Onyx and the Magical Pillow Adventures. You could actually get that on Amazon. Momo is still making music and surrounding himself with popular and well-known artists such as Rick Ross and Lil Baby, amongst other artists. He still posts about Monique and missing her every day. This isn't a typical Who Do You Trust, but I chose to cover the story because LA was actually Momo's friend, and he hung out with Monique as well. They partied together, they traveled, they hung out, they did things as friends. And even after they fell out, Momo didn't think that LA would have done something like this, and I'm pretty sure that Monique felt the same way. But either way, 2 little girls have to grow up without their mother and be haunted by the terrors of what they saw happen to their father. People blame Monique for dating a rapper, but I know for a fact Momo wouldn't have purposely done this to put his family in danger. Greed and envy are dangerous traits, and those are traits that LA possess. If he wanted to get Momo by himself or whatever, he could have done that, but he chose to send a message. And he did that all because of the hate living in that man's heart. And honestly, Momo got to deal with that feeling of people blaming him for her death every day. I pray for her family, I pray for their daughters, and I pray for Momo's mental health as well, because I know that's a lot. Rest in peace, Monique Baugh. Comment a story that you want me to cover. Until next time, peace.